Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief. News based in Israel, brought to you from Israel, and proudly sponsored by Lay of the Lead. I'm your host, Raleen Marks, with today's top stories. It has been a very busy 24 hours for the IDF, responding to some nearly 50 rockets that have been fired from the Gaza Strip into southern Israel, prompting a state of high alert. The background story is as follows. Yesterday, 2 Palestinian terrorists were caught planting IEDs along the border fence with Gaza. They were neutralized by the IDF, and upon collecting their bodies, it was noticed that there were snipers posted very, very close to the fence. Rather than risk the lives of our soldiers, Israel sent a bulldozer to retrieve very gently and very respectfully the body of the terrorists that were neutralized. This is as per Israel's policy that we will not return the body of terrorists killed in conflict until the remains of 2 soldiers that fell during Operation Protective Edge, or Mivtza Tzuk Eitan, Oron Shaul and Hadar Golden, are returned safely to their families for a dignified burial. Palestinian Islamic Jihad, who have claimed responsibility for firing rockets, have fired in the last 24 hours nearly 50 rockets. Israel has responded by striking Palestinian Islamic Jihad targets in the Gaza Strip as well as Syria, killing 3 operatives. In the meantime, the access roads around the Gaza Strip, the train stations are closed. School has been closed in places like Escalation and surrounds. And thank goodness this has happened, because a rocket fired from the Gaza Strip landed in a playground in Sderot a couple of hours ago. The Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, and the security establishment have met, and they have threatened that unless the rocketing stops, there will be a wide-scale operation in Gaza, and this is despite the elections that will take place next week. We will keep you updated on the situation in the south. In other news, everybody's been following the coronavirus and its alarming spread around the world, and yesterday corona made its way to Israel. Presently, there are over 100 Israeli school children who have been quarantined because they have come into contact or been exposed to coronaviruses by meeting delegations or traveling to places where they may have come in contact or contracted the deadly virus. Yesterday, Israel's health ministry recommended that a plane filled with 200 passengers from South Korea be turned back, and today many South Koreans who have been in Israel have been leaving en masse to return home. South Korea is one of the countries that Israel is concerned about, and joins other countries like Thailand, Singapore and various others, and of course China, for the high levels of coronavirus. Also, it was announced earlier today that the Tel Aviv Marathon, that's due to be run on Friday, will restrict or perhaps ban the entrance of foreign runners. Israel's taking the threat posed by coronavirus very, very seriously, and the health ministry have also considered banning or quarantining visitors from Italy and Australia. In the meantime, El Al has cancelled direct flights due to commence on the 11th of March to Tokyo. Japan also remains a country that Israel is on alert for the spread of this deadly virus. And last week, the health ministry, together with the government, said that anybody breaking quarantine could face up to 7 years imprisonment. The coronavirus is something Israel is taking very, very seriously. We have had several Israelis who have contracted the virus as a result of their stay on the quarantined Diamond Princess that was moored off the coast of Japan. And the Israel Brief will keep you updated as to what the situation is if you're planning to visit Israel, or if you are interested in the situation regarding coronavirus. Last week we spoke about the Belgian town of Aalst, a town that hosts a carnival every year that used to be recognized by UNESCO as a cultural heritage site. Yesterday, the carnival took place with the most repugnant and offensive images of anti-Semitism. The carnival has been asked by the international community, and UNESCO dropped its recognition of it because of anti-Semitism and racism. And yesterday's imagery was one of the worst that we have seen. It featured Hasidic Jews dressed up as insects or vermin, with horrible stereotypical or caricature of hooked noses, a fake wailing wall, and various anti-Semitic epithets that we're not going to repeat here. One of the chief rabbis in Europe has actually said that the King of Belgium needs to step in. He cannot say never again one day and allow for this to happen. And we remember that tens of thousands of Belgians were slaughtered by the Nazis during the Holocaust for being Jewish. And while the mayor of Aalst and the organizers defend this as free speech, it is very much anti-Semitism. This is the kind of wording, the kind of imagery that took place before the Holocaust, the mass extermination of Europe's Jews. And we call on the international community to condemn this, and the AJC, the American Jewish Council, have called on the European Union Parliament to condemn and put an end to this carnival. Those are the top stories making headlines in Israel today. Don't forget that you can check out our content online at www.layoftheland.online. You can read Martine Alperstein's excellent article. She expresses some of her frustrations at the lack of progress in making peace. It's a beautiful piece, an emotional piece, and we encourage you to read it. Also, don't forget that our Facebook community is growing, and we would love you to be a part of it. So if you're on Facebook, visit us at Aalst site. We look a little something like this. Give us a like or a follow, and don't forget to share our content. And getting the news from Israel is important, especially to the English-speaking world. And look no further than the Israel Brief. We have a YouTube channel, and you can follow us by simply looking for the Israel Brief and clicking on the subscribe button. It goes a long way to sharing Israel's news with the world. I'm Rolene Marks with today's edition of the Israel Brief. We'll chat again tomorrow.